part now, and we will connect our database with the application. At the moment you can see that already the methods are coded, just we need to write code within the databases. So in order to write code for the databases, we'll switch to the class mydatabase.java, and herein we are going to create our databases. In order to create a database, we are going to make use of a class, and this class will be a private class, and I'm going to call it as a helper class who's going to help me create a database. To do this, I'm going to extend a class, and this class is known as SQLite Open Helper. This SQLite Open Helper class, what it will do, it will help you create databases in your Android file system within the context provided. So let's click SQLite Open Helper, and now what we have to do, within this class we are going to override some methods. So let's press Alt Enter, and we are going to implement the methods which are required. SQLite Open Helper is an abstract class, so what we have to do is we have to extend it into a private class, and then we will be able to implement the following methods. So there will be two methods. First is onCreate, second is onUpgrade. OnCreate will help you execute the queries on your database, okay, and onUpgrade will help you upgrade the database in case if you have new version of the database available, okay. So let's select both the methods, and we are going to implement that in our code. So now what next we'll have, so your first queries will be executed within onCreate, your create your table query that we will be executing here. Before this we have to create a constructor as well, okay. This constructor will help you create the database. So let's press Alt Enter, create constructor which will match the super class, and the super class is your SQLite Open Helper. So let's do that, and we are going to create a constructor which is going to take in context wherein the database has to be created, name of the database, cursor factory will be null, and version of the database, okay. So let's click on OK. So now what exactly we want, we only take context from the helper, and all other information we will be providing by our own. Our name, factory we will not be using, and what it is you can understand that a little later. At the moment it is not required. So what we'll do, we'll take in context, name and version of the database. So context we will take from wherever we are initializing our database, and we are going to hardcode name and version at the moment, okay. So to do this, now what you can see, you have got a private class which extends SQLite Open Helper, which will help you create the database and execute queries on the database, okay. So these methods will be used. Now what we will be doing, we have to specify some constants using which we are going to specify information about name of the database, columns which we will be creating, and our create queries. To do this, let's create some constants here in our application. So here in our my database we are going to create some constants, okay, and these constants will be somewhat like this. Let's say we are going to create a constants like public static final string, and this will be name of the database, okay. Let's call it as db name. So the first one will be db name, and let's call it as tasker.db, okay. We're going to create a file known as tasker.db within the context of our application. Next we are going to create final string, and this will be version of the database. So this will be an integer value because versions are in integer. Let's say db version will be 2. By default it is defined as the first value of the database version should be 2, only then it gets created properly. So you have to specify version as 2, and then you can upgrade the version from 2 to 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on. Now the third value which you have to provide is name of your table which you want to create. So we are going to specify another constant, let's say static final string, and let's say this will be name of the table which we want to create, and let's say this table will be tasks, okay. Within this tasks table we will have a few columns, and let's say these columns will be static final string. First column will be name, and let's call it as task name. Okay, and second will be public static final string, and this will be my C task, that is the detail. And I'm going to save it, create a column with the name task details. I'm using these global constants because I will be using them in query. So later, in case if I have to change any of the values, I'll change at one place, and at all other places it will be automatically replaced. Hence I will be using these global constants. Okay, now so what we have is, we have got our database name, database version, database table, column name, and column names as well. Now next we need, I need to create a few queries, okay, which I will be using in my application. Let's say the first query will be to create a table. Okay, so let's say I'm going to create one more constant, public static final string, and I'm going to create a query known as qcreate, query to create, and this will be create table, table name, and we are going to define the columns. So let's just execute that. Create table, table name will be my db table. I'll be using the constants. Okay, create table, table name, and after this table name, what next we need to do? We need to specify the columns. Okay, columns हमें specify करने हैं. So the first column will be my C name. Okay, I'm going to specify my column C underscore name plus the type of this column will be text type. Okay, clear? Now what next I will be doing, I have to specify another column, and this will be my C task, and this will also be of text type. And you have to make sure of one thing, here we are specifying spaces. These spaces are important because otherwise your column names will be sticked with your string values and your query may not execute. Okay, so what we are doing, we have created a table with a table name, and we have specified name of the column and type of the column, specified by comma, another column name and the type. Clear? So now what next we'll do, my query has been written here, and I'm going to create my table using this following query. So what next we need to do once we are here, so now we have specified the following values like db name, db version, db table, name, task, and we have created the queries as well. Okay, now we are going to specify name and version in the constructor here at the bottom, so that a database with my current name and the version gets created. Okay, so I have specified my db name and the db version. So with this, what will happen, a database in the current context of my application will be created with the name tasker.db, and version of that database will be 2. Whatever database is created using this constructor, it will be delivered and accessible in this object db here. So now we are going to execute the code somewhat like db dot execute SQL. We are going to execute an SQL on it, and we are going to create a query. We are going to execute a query, and this query will be my qcreate. What this qcreate will do, it will create the database, the table in the database. Database has been created here, and now if you go to qcreate, this is going to create the table within your database. Clear? On the DB, we are going to execute the SQL statement, and qcreate will be executed, and we will get a table created within our current database tasker.db. Clear? Now what next, what we need to do, now we need to override these methods. We need to write code in open, save, close, and read. So what we will do, first of all, we are going to write code within this open method. This open will give access to this DB which is created here. Okay, so that you can execute your custom SQL statements on the databases. So with this open, what we are going to do, we are going to create an instance of DB helper, and we are going to pass the context, and the context I have received in the constructor here. So let's just create a constant for context as well, which we will be using in my application. Let's say we are going to create a context C, and I'm going to receive the context. Okay, so we'll get the context. We are going to store the context within C, and this context we are actually receiving from the activities where we are declaring the databases. So here we have passed the context of the application will be received here. Okay, and we will pass that context to C, and now with this context we are going to execute our DB helper, so that the constructor of this DB helper will get executed. This is your constructor. He will receive the context, and within this context he is going to create a database for us. As soon as the database gets created, we'll get an object of the database. Okay, now the first thing, let's first understand where this context is available in our mobile application, so that you can understand better where the database will be created. Okay, so we have taken the context and we are going to pass the context to this DB helper object. DB helper is going to create a database in the context of your application. Where the context is, let me show you manually. So I'm going to create a magnifier here. Let's open the magnifier so that we can view the commands properly on the console. So now what we'll do, I have connected my phone using a VNC viewer, and now we'll just see where the console stays. So on this machine, if we execute the command ls, you can see that this is the complete directory structure of our application, of our mobile device, and within this directory structure we have a directory known as data. Within this data directory we can quickly move to data. We can again, if we print the current working directory, you can see that we are into data. If we again perform a list, there is another directory known as data here. Okay, so now within this data, let's just go to data again, and now if you view, you can see that we are into data directory. Okay, you can execute your Linux commands here on the console. Let's say, so at the moment we are into the data directory, and within this if you execute a ls, you can see that all the applications which are installed on your machine have this context. Okay, every application has its own context and it is defined by its package name. So once we are going to install our custom application, we are going to get name of the application here. So let's say some of the applications which I have designed is devanshu.hackweather.userservice which we created yesterday. So at the moment, if you want to go into that application, if you want to check what do we have in the context, you can go to this uservice. We can print the current working directory. We are into this. Okay, if we do an ls statement, you can see that we only have libraries at the moment because we were not having any database in that application. But in my current application, I'm going to design a database and then I'm going to access the database within this context in my mobile device. So let's just proceed to the concept. So here, context within this file structure. Now, so once we have executed this, now what we are going to do, we are going to save the instance of this DB helper into an object so that we can get the database name and the writable database. What we are going to do, we are going to store that in an object, let's say DB helper, and we are going to create a field known as DB helper, and that field will be global field so that I can access it wherever I want. So I've created a DB helper here. Using this DB helper object, now I will be able to access the method known as getWritable_database, which will return writable database to me with a database with read-write permissions. Okay, so we are going to execute this method, and this method is available in SQLite Open Helper. And since our DB helper is a child of SQLite Open Helper, we get access to this method, and it is going to return an object of SQLite database type. So we are going to get the writable database and we are going to store that in an object known as database. Okay, and now we'll press Alt Enter and we are going to create a field database, and this field will be created with the name SQLite database. So now we have got access to the database as well, which has been created using this DB helper, and finally we have returned this access to this my database class with all its resources. Okay, so once open is done, now save will be performed. So on save, what we will do, we are going to receive name and task and we are going to store that into my database. To do this, we are going to do something like this. We are going to make use of a class known as content values. Content values can help you store values easily in your database. So you can simply create an instance of content values. Let's say somewhat like this: content value CV is equal to new content values. You can Alt Enter and you can import the class content values. Using this, you can execute something like this, a method known as cv.put. And what this put does, it asks for a string key and a value type which you want to store. So you can store any type of value within your databases. It could be float, it could be long, it could be double, it could be blob, anything you can store. So at the moment I have both the values as string, so I'm going to specify strings. So first name, the key will be my column name. So the first key is my C name, in which I'm going to store the name data which I have received from the user. The second key will be my column number 2, and that will be my C task. Okay, and within this task I'm going to store my task. So you can have as many columns and you can put data into as many columns you want. Okay, just you have to provide name of the column and the data which you want to store. Finally, once you're done, you can simply execute a query on database, and this is database.insert. So within this insert, you can see that we have 3 methods. You have to specify name of the table. Null column hack will be null at the moment, so you don't need this at the moment. And finally, the content values which you want to insert. So you have to provide name of the table in which you want to insert and the content values which you want to insert. So let's just do that. We're going to insert. We're going to insert into our DB table. Okay. So we are going to insert into DB table. Null column hack will be null. And finally, we are going to provide the content values which we are going to put into our application. So now you can see that save operation will be performed. Okay. And once the operation is performed, we are going to close the statement. So we are going to do something like database.close. There is an operation known as close, using which you can close the connection to database. Okay. This will help you in if you get any exception like all the connections are completed and you cannot create any more connections. So if you close the connection once your operation is performed, then easily you can connect to databases and you can execute, read and write queries. Now, so this was to save the data into database. Just you need to collect the value and store the value using content values. Now what we are going to do, we have to read the values as well. To read the values, what we will do, we are going to return a string and let's call it as result. So result will be empty at the moment. And finally, we are going to return the result which we are going to fetch from the database. Okay. Now, the first thing we do is we have to provide the number of columns and name of the columns from where we want to select data. So to do this, we are going to create an array of string type and name of this array will be columns. Okay. So within this string, what we have to do, we have to specify name of the columns which we want to fetch from the database. So in this case, I want to fetch both the columns like my C name and C task. So I'm going to provide name of the columns that I would like to fetch my name and the task both. So I've provided name of both the columns. Clear? Now what will I do? I'm going to execute a query on my database. I'm going to provide name of the columns which I want to fetch. Whatever result is generated, it will be stored into a cursor class. Cursor is tabular representation of database in your language, in your programming language. Okay. So once you will execute a SQL statement, a table will be returned. that complete table will be stored into cursor class in Java Android. So let's do that. So we are going to execute database.query. Okay, we're going to execute a query, and you can see that within this query we are going to specify some information like name of the table in which we want to execute this query. We have to provide the column array, the number of columns from which we want to fetch data. Then we can perform some selection queries. We can perform group by queries, having query, and order by queries. In case if we don't have any, we'll simply provide null to this. Okay. So at the moment, what am I doing? I'm doing select star from my database. So I'm going to provide name of the table and the name of the columns, and all the data between in this columns will be returned back to my cursor. So let's just execute this query, and to execute this query I'm going to provide name of the table, okay, the columns from which I want to access my values. Then I have to specify, let's say selection will be null. I am not providing any selection arguments. Okay, then there is no group by, and there is no having column, and there is no order by as well. Okay,
so basically we are doing
select star from table. Yes, so we will fetch all the queries and we'll get the result. Clear? Select star from the query, and now this query is going to return an object of cursor type. Okay, so the output which you will get after executing this query is cursor type. You can see that the cursor is displayed here. So we are going to store the value into a cursor, okay, and the type will be cursor as well. Okay, so now let me just put that into 2 lines so that you can follow it properly. Alt enter. So now we have got the cursor class imported in our application. So as soon as we execute this query, all the results will be stored in our cursor. Now what next we have to do? Within this cursor, you can get the values by its column index only, not by column names. So what we have to do, first of all, we have to get the index of the columns which are returned. So column name and column task will be returned. So we need to get the index of these columns in the cursor. Okay. So to do this, we can do something like this: we can do it something like cursor dot get column index, and we have to provide the name of the column. Okay, and it will give us an integer index value. So we are going to get the column index for C name first. Okay, and we are going to store that in a integer object, let's say I name. Okay, integer will be returned. In the same way, we are going to get that for I task, and we are going to get something like cursor dot get column index, and we are going to get something from task. Okay, so we are going to get the column index, and we are going to store that into integer values. Now, so once you have got this, now we are going to execute a for loop for the number of queries which are returned. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll loop through all the rows which are returned in a cursor, and then we are going to update our result variable, and finally we are going to return the result. So let's say we are going to execute a for loop here, wherein we are going to get values from the cursor, add it to the result, and finally we are going to return the result. To do this, we can do something like this: cursor dot move to first. Here there are some pre-written methods created using which you can move to the first row of the cursor. Then you can loop through all the rows, and you can check if the current row is not the last row. By that time you can execute your for loop. Okay, so let's say we'll go to move to first. If not condition, so till the cursor is not after last, so we'll execute something like this: cursor dot is after last. So is after last, we'll check and we'll let you know if you haven't reached to the last row of your cursor. Until the time, we are going to do something like cursor dot move to next. Move to next. So now what will happen? Line by line, your cursor will be traversed, and you're going to get the values from individual row with the specific column index. Okay. So now what we are going to do, we are going to do something like this, cursor dot get string. Okay, so within this you can see that get string will get you value from the column index only. Okay, so we are going to provide the column index for the name column. Okay, so before this what we are going to do, we are going to store that into a result. We are going to get the last value of the result as well, and then we are going to append the values. Okay, so result is equal to result plus cursor dot get string plus, we are going to, let's say we have used one divider as well, so as to identify on the left hand side we have name, and on the right hand side of this symbol we have the task. So we'll get something like this in the new line. Let me just write plus cursor dot get string, and here we are going to get the task. Okay, c dot cursor dot get string, and this will be your I task. Clear? Now, so once we have provided the values, and finally we are going to provide a new line character as well, so that every individual row is displayed line after line. So now we have got the result, and finally we have returned the result. So this result will be returned back to my read activity, and my read activity will display my application. So let me just save it. Now what am I going to do? I've got my code ready for my read and write operation, and now I am going to export this application to a signed APK. I'm going to use an existing signed APK which we have already created yesterday. We have created a content with the name parimal.jks. So we are going to use this key store file. We are going to export that to abcd12345. Alias name was Akveda. abcd12345. We'll go next. We have provided, now we are going to finish, and as soon as our application gets exported, we are going to test that in our device, and then we'll see the context and we will see where the database is created. Okay, so once our application runs for the first time, we'll be able to get access to the databases as well, and we'll view the databases here in our application in our